52 teams of 8 antique rival wisdoms compete to do the future a favor and guide a life at stop2think.com. Team quote 34.1. Life grants nothing to us mortals without hard work. Horace 65 BC 8 BC. This quote from the Roman poet Horace expresses a fundamental truth about the relationship between effort and achievement. Let me break down its significance. The phrase grants nothing is particularly powerful because it dismisses the idea of entitlement, challenges beliefs in luck or fate as primary forces, emphasizes the universal nature of this truth across all human endeavors. The inclusion of us mortals is meaningful because it acknowledges our human limitations, suggests this is part of the human condition itself, implies that even the most talented or privileged must work for their achievements. Horace is asserting that effort is the currency of accomplishment. This applies across all domains. Material success requires persistent labor. Knowledge comes through dedicated study. Relationships thrive through consistent nurturing. Skills develop through repetitive practice. Character builds through facing and overcoming challenges. The wisdom here is particularly relevant in an age of instant gratification and viral success stories. While we often see the end results of others' achievements, we rarely witness the years of hard work behind them. Horace reminds us that meaningful accomplishments rarely come through shortcuts or luck alone. Team quote 34.2. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Confucius 551 BC, 479 BC. This profound insight from Confucius reframes the very nature of success and resilience. Rather than seeing perfection as the highest achievement, he elevates the act of recovery as the true measure of character. The wisdom works on multiple levels. It shifts focus from avoiding failure to responding to it. It suggests that falling is not just normal but expected. It finds nobility in the struggle to rise again. It implies that those who never fall may never discover their capacity for rising. What makes this particularly powerful is how it transforms our understanding of glory. Instead of defining glory as flawless performance, Confucius locates it in our response to adversity. This view celebrates resilience over perfection, values the learning that comes from recovery, acknowledges falling as part of the human experience, encourages perseverance rather than fear of failure. Have you found that your most meaningful achievements came not from avoiding falls, but from how you responded to them? Team quote 34.3. Real firmness is good for anything. Strut is good for nothing. Alexander Hamilton 1757 to 1804. This astute observation from Hamilton, one of America's founding fathers, draws a sharp distinction between authentic strength and mere posturing. As someone who rose from humble beginnings in the Caribbean to become a key architect of American government, he understood the difference between genuine capability and empty show. The quote contrasts two types of apparent strength: real firmness, authentic, reliable, and grounded in actual capability; strut, showy, performative, and lacking substance. One is foundational, the other superficial. One produces results, the other only appearances. What makes this particularly meaningful coming from Hamilton is his own experience in both military and political leadership, where he witnessed how true strength often manifests quietly, while weakness often hides behind dramatic displays. The use of strut is especially effective, evoking the image of a peacock, all show and no substance. By contrast, real firmness suggests something solid, dependable, and proven through action rather than display. Have you observed how people with genuine capability often feel less need to advertise it, while those who strut are often compensating for lack of substance? Team quote 34.4. Education is the cheap defense of nations. Edmund Burke 1729 to 1797. Let me analyze this quote from Edmund Burke, the influential Irish statesman and political philosopher. Burke's statement, "Education is the cheap defense of nations," suggests that investing in education is a cost-effective way to protect and strengthen a nation, especially when compared to military spending or other defensive measures. Here's why this is significant. 1. Economic perspective. Education is cheap relative to the massive costs of maintaining armies, building fortifications, or waging wars. Yet it can prevent many of the problems that might otherwise require military solutions. 2. Preventive power. An educated populace is better equipped to identify and resist propaganda and manipulation, more capable of participating in democratic processes, more likely to solve conflicts through reason rather than violence, more productive economically, strengthening the nation's resources. 3. Long-term security. Education creates multiple layers of national defense by fostering critical thinking and innovation, developing skilled workers and leaders, preserving and advancing cultural values, building social cohesion through shared knowledge and understanding. The quote reflects Burke's conservative philosophy that valued gradual, organic social improvement through institutions like education, rather than radical change through force. He saw education as a stabilizing force that could help prevent the kind of violent upheaval he witnessed in the French Revolution. Team quote 34.5. Perseverance, secret of all triumphs. Victor Hugo 1802 to 1885. Let me analyze this powerful quote from Victor Hugo, the renowned French novelist and poet. This concise statement captures a profound truth about human achievement. Here's what makes it particularly meaningful. 1. Universal application. Hugo suggests that persistence is the common thread in all forms of success, whether in artistic creation, as he demonstrated writing masterpieces like Les Miserables, personal growth and development, scientific discovery, social progress, overcoming adversity. 2. The word secret is particularly interesting because it implies that people often look for complex explanations for success. The real answer is surprisingly simple, yet often overlooked. The power of perseverance isn't immediately visible to observers. 3. Triumphs suggests not just ordinary successes, but significant victories that require overcoming substantial obstacles, result in meaningful achievements, transform situations or lives. Hugo's own life exemplified this principle. He spent 19 years in political exile, during which he wrote some of his greatest works. He persevered through political upheaval, personal losses, and artistic challenges to become one of literature's most enduring voices. Team quote 34.6. My object in life is not simply to make money for myself. Sarah Breedlove 1867 to 1919. This profound statement from Sarah Breedlove, better known as Madam C.J. Walker, the first self-made female millionaire in America and a pioneering Black entrepreneur, reveals her deeper understanding of purpose and success. The quote is particularly meaningful because it comes from someone who did make significant money, yet saw beyond wealth. It implies that making money can be part of one's purpose without being its entirety. It suggests success should serve broader goals than personal enrichment. It reflects her actual practice of using wealth for social advancement and racial justice. What makes this especially powerful coming from Breedlove is how she lived this principle. She created economic opportunities for thousands of Black women, supported educational initiatives and civil rights causes, used her success to challenge racial and gender barriers, demonstrated that business success could serve community advancement. The careful wording, not simply to make money, acknowledges that financial success has value, while clearly stating it shouldn't be the sole objective. Have you found that the most satisfying achievements are those that serve purposes beyond personal gain? Team quote 34.7. I much prefer a compliment, even if insincere, to sincere criticism. Plautus 255 BC, 185 BC. This humorous and honest observation from Plautus, the Roman playwright known for his comedies, reveals a very human preference that many might feel but few would admit. The quote is delightfully self-aware in how it acknowledges our emotional rather than logical preferences, admits to valuing pleasant falsehood over uncomfortable truth, recognizes that we often choose comfort over growth, shows how we can know something is insincere, yet still enjoy it. What makes this particularly amusing coming from Claude is that as a comic playwright, he would have understood deeply how people often prefer pleasant fictions to harsh realities. Human nature gravitates toward what feels good. We can be fully aware of our irrational preferences. Even knowing flattery is false doesn't negate its pleasure. The contrast between compliment, even if insincere, and sincere criticism is especially clever because it suggests that sincerity itself isn't always the highest value. Have you caught yourself preferring a pleasant untruth to an uncomfortable fact, even while being aware of your own bias? Team quote 34.8. A good conscience is a continual Christmas. Benjamin Franklin 1706 to 1790. This warm and evocative metaphor from Franklin captures the lasting joy that comes from living ethically. As someone known for both his wit and his wisdom, Franklin here connects moral behavior with sustained happiness. The comparison to Christmas works on multiple levels. It suggests an ongoing state of joy and contentment. It implies a giving spirit that lasts beyond a single season. It connects moral living with celebration and delight. It hints that ethical behavior brings its own rewards. What makes this particularly clever is how it transforms Christmas from a once-a-year event into a continuous state of being. The metaphor suggests that peace of mind comes from right action. Moral living creates lasting satisfaction. Inner harmony produces ongoing joy. Ethical behavior generates its own celebration. Have you experienced this connection between clear conscience and sustained contentment? This sense that doing right creates its own kind of ongoing celebration. And to help raise school test scores and confidence with free easy extra advantage math, spelling and reading workbooks you can download for free at stop2think.com or buy at educationstopshate.com. Free easy math wisdom workbooks with octa repetition to grow math self-confidence. You'll get plenty of repetitive practice of age ranges and averages of our 52 teams of 8 quote authors. Free easy alpha cipher-coded puzzles teach letters, numbers, and phrases using antique wisdoms that encourage and educate. Can you decode this cipher quote of encouragement using either our learning to spell or just for fun instructions? And since time is money, practice reading faster with 52 teams of antique rival wisdoms. We offer printed versions and timed videos with background music. Sign up for free weekly emails of 52 teams of antique rival wisdom workbooks with easy math, spelling, and reading practice. And if you'd like to get paid for sharing our wearable wisdoms, keep this in mind. Everyone I know wears a shirt, and most of us change them daily, so change your shirt and change the world. Social equalities are blatantly subliminal antique positive wisdoms repetitively shared without saying a word. This applies to all our wearable shareable wisdoms, like pretty witty baby onesies and pretty witty kids. Youthful truths let your kids gain confidence, sharing antique wisdoms with their friends. Imagine them sharing words of wisdom with classmates and teachers. I think, therefore I think tees I wear is a super easy way to share words of wisdom. With wearable wisdoms to fit babies, kids, and adults, you can clothe a whole family, city, or state. So do the future a favor by encouraging, educating, and entertaining with words of wisdom. Make us all wiser and kinder. And for a downloadable PDF of these team quotes, join the 52 of 8 today.